it.
Get those abortions and those gender-affirming surgeries in now, kids.
Get fixed.
I don't think anyone needs to be fixed if they're getting gender-affirming surgery.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant
Whoa!
like you can't have kids.
Whoa!
So you don't need to worry about the
I'm getting
abortion.
sected out soon.
Yeah.
I put the me in vasectomy.
Welcome to Cleveland, America. That is all. Enjoy the show.
Nice.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cleveland, America.
It's not a serious place.
Hey, good morning.
We got a lot to cover. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, I'm Bill.
That's Tommy,
Hi.
and I'm Pants.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Come on in.
I know we've got new people here.
Can we make you a bowl
But we're
of
going to
soup?
have new people, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think
There's a reason.
Why?
Well, should we just jump right into
Jump
it?
in.
I think you should jump right
Yeah.
into
All right.
it.
So, if you haven't heard, I was laid off from iHeartRadio. They said that problem was my dick's too big. No, it was
What is?
too big for radio.
Hog too fat.
Yeah,
For terrestrial radio.
It says fat hog, reason for termination.
I mean, they got to give you a reason.
Yeah.
They got to, they can't just not
Yeah.
write something
They
down.
can't downsize that big old hog of yours, so you gotta.
Well, you have
go.
a couple weeks to do that if you wanted to do that, but
Yeah.
not to call back. But go on.
Yeah. No, it was a company-wide layoff. I get a phone call at about 10:15 on Monday morning. Just got back from a walk with Grandma, having a nice day, starting to get into my show prep. And I get a call I have two bosses named Keith.
Yeah.
And so I go,
That's a lot of Keiths.
yeah. So I get a call, and he goes, "Hey, this is Keith and the other Keith." And I go, "Oh no, two Keiths, that's a bad day."
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah,
yes.
you get a call from the two Keiths, and they're like, "Yeah, today will be your last day
Wait,
with iHeartRadio."
a call?
It was a phone call.
Not even there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
Yeah, well.
I would prefer, I don't want to have to take the drive down to the office to.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
but it also feels like a breakup, like over the phone.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You're a real woman of.
Because I also, I do most of my, pre-show stuff at home, so I don't get there till, right when I have to be on the air.
Yeah.
So it was just them being because they had just told Alan, then they told me, and got laid off, big iHeartRadio layoff. And the first thing I want to say about that is thank you, Alan, for even taking a chance on me. I spent almost 12 years on WMMS. That's a dream come true for a dude that grew up in Cleveland listening to the Buzzard. I got to be a huge part of it for such a long time. People are like, "Oh, you're going to get your Buzzard tat covered up?" No, absolutely not. It's part of who I am, and I'm thrilled with the run that I had and all the people that I got to know, all the listeners that just made my life completely different because of your support. So and all that is because Alan took a chance on me. I had no experience in radio, and we built a great show together. And Alan and I worked together for, I think it's the longest he ever worked with somebody. It's definitely the longest I ever worked with somebody. And we had
Like in any capacity.
Yeah. And we had a chemistry that we developed over the years. I mean, it was there from day one, but the way it blossomed over the 11 years that we worked together was just really special, because there's moments where you guys didn't know this, but he would bring something up, or I would bring something up, and we had the same idea. We knew exactly how to go with it, and it was just locked and loaded without having to discuss it. And I can't tell you how many times we did that, where a topic would get brought up. I go, "Oh, I know exactly how to set him up for this." I would lob it, he would spike it, or vice versa. Where I'd bring something up and be like, "Oh, here's the thing." Like, the amount of times that I would say something and then he'd have a sound cue ready because he knew exactly where it was going to go. And he was fast with the sound cues anyway, but these were things that are not planned, not discussed. and just happened because him and I just were on that level together.
Good.
Very good.
No, that's really cool.
Speaking of
That
alley
was
oops, Tommy.
But it was so just working with Alan, and people are like, "What's Alan really like? Is he a dick?" And I'm like, working with Alan was incredible. I had a lot of fun with him, so many laughs. He taught me a lot about being a professional and a broadcaster and all these different things. And it was phenomenal. I would go back in a second if they asked me.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't him.
Yeah,
Like,
it wasn't him. No, it's not him. Yeah.
Yeah, to everyone that was in my comments, this was not like Alan waking up with a fucking stick up his ass and Bill's gone.
Yeah,
Right,
this isn't. It was
0%
completely out of his hand.
Yeah.
This isn't anybody regionally. This
Yeah.
isn't anybody in our quadrant. Like whatever. Like this comes from the very top, and it wasn't about Bill and Mary gotta go. It was we're making these cuts. These are the numbers that we can cut, and so we're doing that. And so
they looked at a spreadsheet and then they had one boring quick Zoom meeting and then they fucking the axe fell.
And again, that's part of the radio business. These cuts happen all the time. I've made it 11 years without being one of the victims of it, and now it finally got me, and it got a couple other people. And I mean, there's people in Cleveland that got cut. There's my buddy Nick Jordan down in North Carolina. He got taken out. So like this happens, and I'm just grateful to have the run that I had, and it set me up in a position where when this did happen, I wasn't like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Like I know how to keep going. I just don't have, one part of my income like I used to. So I'm gonna try and figure out how to pump up that other half of my income. But I mean, and it's a significant chunk. Don't get me wrong. But I also, I always kept hustling with the stand-up thing because I knew this day would come.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, not to be contrarian guy. Terrestrial radio in 2024, it had to be in the back of your mind at some point. This,
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's in the front of your mind. It's because all they ever talk, radio is still very much, obviously, a tool that and something that people listen to. I'm the reason people know who I am is because of the radio, but the way that they have to adapt to the modern media is something that is moving so fast that they're just trying to get their head around it, and it's causing a lot of turmoil within not just iHeartMedia but across every kind of legacy media. TV's also in dire straits right now. Hollywood is in dire straits right now because things are just so different.
Because I mean, the internet and streaming has been a thing now for well over a decade, and it's like they still cannot. It's accelerated. It's they've been playing a catch-up game for as many billions of dollars as they have. They've done a very bad job of keeping up with it.
Well, or
monetizing,
right?
For the lack of to get to the point.
The adaptation has not been smooth for legacy media, and there's not really any way that they could adapt to it. Like there's not much to do. Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
they've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, Bill, I mean, let's just say hypothetically, if you were to let's say Monday didn't happen and you still had your job, there wasn't really another radio gig that you could have gone to from here. Am I wrong about that?
I mean, they're not the way that I'm doing it right now. I was doing it.
It's just
we were also an anomaly too. There's no when I would go to other cities and I would broadcast from other cities and tell them that I was doing afternoon talk on a rock station, they're like, what? It doesn't happen.
No.
We were an anomaly and so the fact that, and Alan's going to continue on, and for everybody asking, I don't know what the new iteration of the show is going to be, but he's still with iHeart, so he'll be back on air and he'll explain all that to everybody. But like we weren't, we weren't like a plug and play show. This was something that was out of the ordinary that WMMS, because it's such a special station, was able to make work. And there's not a lot of hybrid type stations like WMMS that have the legacy that they have either. I mean, it was kind of a one of a kind situation, and getting to be a part of it for the past almost 12 years has been like really surreal in a way. I gotta get my notes because I don't want to forget any of the stuff that
And this is not to make it about me, but I got laid off in 2008 from Live Nation, so kind of an adjacent similar situation where it was just like, we have to trim the fat.
Yeah.
You're the fat.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't had a full-time job since.
Right.
I just committed to making self-employment work for myself.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm gonna go. And for all the people that are like, oh, you don't got a job or whatever, like I do have a job, and it's just a self-employed job. And the one thing that people also don't realize is they think that I came onto the Alan Cox show and that was the beginning of my career in entertainment, but I had been doing stand-up comedy for almost a decade already and did the road successfully. Now, was I making a ton of money? No, but I was making enough to support a family of 3.
There was a reason you got that job.
I got that job because I wanted to get off the road and be around my kids more. And
no, I didn't mean
and make more money, but I did want to be around them more because it was getting into their formative years, and so.
But my point is, you didn't just walk in off the street and be like, "Hey, y'all hiring?"
Right, exactly. Like
the resume you built up is what got you that job.
Exactly.
With Alan,
and so, what I was doing on the road before, I've learned a lot since then. So going on the road now, with the following that I've built through the Alan Cox show and just social media in general, it's like I can get people to come out and see me, and also people there's levels. Like there's sometimes where I'm going to do a show and it's going to be crazy. You're going to be like, oh my god, this looks incredible. Should I pull back the curtain a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. So sometimes you'll see a comic doing like a comedy club, and it's packed and sold out, but it's a room full of free tickets. Now, no comic on social media is going to be like sold out, and they're going to be like free ticket show. This is going to be they're going to say I sold out the show because you want to.
It's the entertainment industry.
And then there's other shows where I may only sell, or whatever comic may only sell, 20 or 30 tickets, but because you have, a decent ticket price for those shows and a good deal with the venue that you're performing at, you're making more at the show where you're performing for 20 or 30 people than the 200 people.
Yeah.
So
the classic trade-off.
It's and so a lot of people don't understand it. Like I did a show in Columbus this weekend, not a ton of people, but a good check. Like I made a good check for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's still, for as much as people are aware of stand-up comedy, it's bigger than it's ever been. People still really don't know the deal. It's like you talk about the music industry, everyone understands how the music industry works and the smoke and the mirrors of it. I don't think people really understand a lot about the inner workings of comedy and how shows book and da-da-da.
And with where I'm going to be moving, in the coming years, like the way I'm going to be doing things with mostly on YouTube and social media and stuff like that. When people are like, oh, I can't wait to see you on Netflix, it's like, but you also have YouTube, so just go watch it there.
Yeah,
There's a reason all your favorite comedians are putting stuff out, self-releasing it on YouTube, like entire hour-long specials and stuff.
Yeah, and it gives us a ton of control. It gives you an option to watch things for free. And so I have a new special that's coming out, and the old specials that I have were acquired by this company called Comedy Dynamics, and so they're going to put like Pure BS right now is being pushed out to Apple TV Plus and Amazon Prime and all these different platforms, which is great because they have their what they've built out there. So like I'll make money off of that, but it's like you used to watch it on my YouTube channel too.
For free or like purchase?
On my, it's free.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but you can also, but if you want to support, you buy it from
buy
them.
it. It's not expensive.
But and then like the audio album that came out for the new special that's coming out. Like thank you for everybody that bought that. Like you moved it to #1 on iTunes and Amazon and everything like that. So that's a huge way of support. And then buying live tickets. There's all these different avenues that you can create revenue with. And so just like I appreciate that those clicks and the time that you guys have taken to let me into your life.
Now do it with us.
Yeah, and now this is another great way.
Yeah,
watch Cleveland America.
Yeah.
Sure.
Watch Cleveland
Please watch
America.
it. Watch this shit on YouTube. I know I'm somebody that lives on Spotify, but I'm old. I don't understand things. Please watch us on YouTube. Please subscribe to us, and because now Bill and us are forced to really lean into the means by which Bill lost his job.
Yeah.
And guys, I might also too be affected with sex work with that Project 2025.
Yeah.
So support us all.
Support us all.
Please.
Yeah.
We love you.
Do I have to subscribe to your OnlyFans again? No.
Oh, no, I'm okay right now. I mean, you can, but
I mean, do I need to add a third burner subscription? All right. Fine. Support is support.
And so the support has been great, and like I feel very like I'm bummed for me, but I'm also bummed for the listeners because that is a relationship you have with a talk show that at 2:00 you're gonna turn it on and you want to hear what Alan has to say and what I have to say and what Mary has to say about what's going on in the world and what's going on in our lives. And Alan and I doing that together for such a long time, and that now not being part of it is it's weird. It's going to be very strange.
I think beyond obviously like the financial ramifications of it, the fact that you did not get a chance to say goodbye to your audience on the radio fucking sucks.
It does.
I had so many people message me saying, what am I going to do on my drive home? This is like feels like a
It feels like
a relationship.
I mean, was Alan scheduled to do were you guys scheduled to do a best of?
No.
That was just because Alan got the news. And
he found out minutes before I found out, and then as soon as I got off the phone with the Keiths, which is a very Office Space moment.
Yes, it is.
Because wasn't it the Davids?
The Bobs.
Yeah, the Bobs in Office Space. I got a meeting with the Bobs. I had a meeting with the Keiths, and they said, boy. And
we're like,
and
what would you
I'm
say?
still with the customers.
What would you say you do here?
Talk about my balls.
The ratings have to be going down after, like,
I mean,
no offense to Alan, but like that's just such a shift.
This week they're going to go up
because they want to hear
what Alan has to say. But the ratings were not an issue. The ratings have been good and consistent. And also the way that you get ratings from radio is still pretty archaic because you have to have so it used to be you'd write in a journal. And that only went away like 12, 15 years ago.
What was that called? I remember what that used to be called. Fuck.
It was
not Nielsen ratings. Yeah, it was like a...
Yeah.
It was called... Anyways.
So before, I can't remember who it was, but Nielsen then took over and they had these meters. And people will listen to... They'll have them in their car, they'll carry them around with them. And so whatever they hear will be... picked up by the radio, but there has to be like encoded audio so that those meters pick those up.
Yeah.
Because you can't just have somebody carrying a device around that's listening to everything
This is so
all the time.
guys.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So like they do the best they can to get an accurate rating, but there's a lot of variables that mean things could go because each meter represents like 10,000 people or some dumb, like it's crazy. It's not a great system, but it's the best system that they can do.
I just don't know why they didn't call you into the office on Monday and say, hey, sign this. We're going to give you guys one episode where you can say bye.
Because it's not up to them.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah. It went above
them.
the Keiths.
Yeah, it's above the Keiths. It's
They're evil.
That's just not how radio works.
My first ever real life job, speaking of media jobs, is I am so old. There was a time you could have 2 competing weekly newspapers in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, there's always been Cleveland Scene magazine, which people are aware of, but there was the Cleveland Free Times, which was their competitor. And I got my first job out of art school was the Cleveland Free Times. So I was 23 years old. We didn't have text and cell phones back then like we did now. This is 2002. So they call us in the office. They have like a crisis counselor in a side office. They have one of the Keiths, our Keiths. They say, through the Cleveland Free Times' parent publishing house has been bought by Cleveland Scene's parent publication. You're all being laid off. So they call me into a room, and like, there's people that have been working for Free Times, like WMMS, for like 30 years. They're weeks away from retirement, and people are sobbing, people are crying, they're inconsolable. I had been there for 4 months, I think.
Yeah.
I was still drunk from the night before. They call me in, so this lady sits down with me. She goes, "Okay, here's your paperwork for your COBRA applications for your insurance, your emergency insurance. Here's some numbers you can call if you need assistance or you need counseling, da-da-da." And then they hand me a check for the most money I'd ever seen in my life at that point.
Yeah.
I go, "What is this?" And they go, "This is 6 weeks of severance. And if you have any questions," and then at the point, as I'm looking at it, I just heard, "Wow, wow, 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 wow," and I just go, "You're telling me I can have this and I don't have to come back?" And she goes, "Yes." I go, "Bye," and I ran. And that was my introduction to corporate culture in America.
Yeah, I was under contract, so there in my contract there is severance built into it, and so it's I'll be fine for quite some time.
Yeah, I obviously didn't want to segue into whatever your severance may or may not have been, but
no, I'll be all right. These are good, man.
You like it?
These are good, yeah.
Are you gonna call me Mary?
I was Tommy.
I mean, man, and just because we're doing the show about it now, it sucks, man, and everything about it sucks, and it sucks they did it the way they did it to you, and
I'll say this, and then we'll move on to even more depressing things. The one thing, the support has been like so great. There's so many people, such kind things. I appreciate that so much. There has been a little bit of hate, and I'll address the haters. Here's what I'm going to say: this job was never who I am completely. The best parts of me have never been what my career is, and the things that make me happy have never been just money and success. The things that make Bill Squire who he is are separate from all that. Now that some of those things come through in my comedy and radio career, but even without the radio job or stand-up comedy, I'm still those things, and I'm still very proud and happy to be who I am, because I'm most of all, I feel like a very compassionate person, a very empathetic person, pretty fucking funny, and just understanding, and I'll kill you.
You really don't use now. Haters.
I know what that severance is. Tell me,
you edit this episode then. So there's and like there was one guy, and he backtracked on this apparently, but he said, like, "I hope your friends are encouraging you to get a 9-to-5 job," which is one of the things. Like, if any of my friends were encouraging, I know that they're not really my friend, because they know that, first of all, I don't have any skills that translate to a 9-to-5 situation. I don't have those. I didn't graduate from high school. I didn't go to college. I am not a 9-to-5 person. So if I were to try and start doing a 9-to-5 job, it wouldn't make any sense.
No,
You'd hate it.
So looking at that, I understand the point you're making, but
Yeah, and
that's just
but,
people that are so upset that they don't have the talent that allows them to live.
But here's the thing. Then I get a text from this guy's friend. He says, "Hey, I actually know that guy. He said he didn't mean it in a mean way." But I'm like, but you still said it. And you still have to understand that there are...
Wait, he reached out through a friend?
Yeah, he reached out through a friend.
He didn't reach out himself?
I don't know. This is what happened. So
Come on, dude.
Yeah, well, whatever. It was just one of those things where I was like, well, what he said, regardless of intent, was still incredibly insulting because, like, and just meaningless too, because I don't have the same goals as most people. Like, there's a lot of people and they want to do their job and they want to make sure they have their benefits and they want to do that. Like, I am fine if I have to sell my condo and move into like a little tiny apartment where Pants lives and just really just go back down to the gutter like Pants is. No. If I have,
I have 1.5 bathrooms, motherfucker.
Oh, okay. All right.
You can have the half.
I got 2 full. For now. We'll see. We'll see how long that lasts. But no, like, if I have to, sell my condo and downsize and sell my, like, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not, like, the freedom that I have from doing comedy, like, I as an adult, I've never had to, like, be on a crazy schedule. Like, I've never had to be like, oh, I gotta wake up at 5:30 every single day. Like,
but you work to earn that.
Yeah,
I know, right? Earn that. Like,
and I'm fine to go, like, to take a step back because the freedom and the creativity that I get to express is my number one reason for loving the career path that I've chosen. It's not like the money's nice. I've made a lot of money over my career. The fame is whatever. Like, that's cool because that helps get people in. But the one thing that I love is the creativity, and that's something that I can do at any level and can thrive at any level in any situation because that's the thing that fuels me. Like, this whole week has not been like, oh, I'm sad. I haven't been sad really at all. Like, I'm bummed, like, from time to time, but most of it I'm like, okay, now I got to organize all these thoughts that I'm having because I've had ideas of how I would react to this day when it came, and now I get to implement those things and really and see where I can go with them. Sorry,
we're losing them.
And I can take these different ideas that I've had and put them to the test and see which one can be that next thing for me.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna.
I'm laughing.
Bill, if this is goodbye.
Yes.
I'm only laughing because you're like, I'm not sad now. It's like,
I just don't know how to breathe.
There's just something special about listening to Bill talk about how he's expressing himself with creativity. And
Are you okay? Do you need water? What do you need, babe?
I get you some water. We're at the bar.
I need a little second. All right. Wrong pipe.
There's just something special where I'm like, while he's going on about it,
sorry,
not being able to work a real job and working real hours.
I love this show so much.
We have to
just
make
a
this
Polaroid of giant tits right behind his head that no one can see. That I'm just been staring at the whole time. No, and I don't like giving quote unquote the haters a lot of time because it's whatever. But it's the same thing with. Those people are always 100% of the time either dudes that are too afraid to try one open mic, or they've topped out professionally and they've never had a skill set or a talent that would allow them to go work on their own terms. And that's not me shitting on the working man. That's like, if you're so bored and you're so sad that you're jumping into Facebook comments saying don't quit your day job.
And there's literally people that they want to just try and upset people. Like, that's just how they feel alive.
That's all they got.
It's how they feel like they can get attention. I've had those people, and this is why I stopped. Like, I learned pretty early on in the radio thing to not engage with people doing negative comments. I'm more just like a block and move on kind of person, because a lot of the times they'll be like, oh, I was just trying to get your attention, and I know that if I said something mean, I'll probably get your attention. I'm like, oh, gross.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all,
such a
dude. It's
weird-
99% of the time. It's like if you do check them, there's like they're just like, haha, that's what got you, dude. Like it's like, hey, now look at us riffing, and it's like, that's the culture we live in,
right?
Like,
and so
not to get like, and I'm not trying to segue into a bigger thing. It's like. That's what got a whole fucking president elected.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
it's like not talent anymore. It's just like it's like this. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching. Oh, you're mad. I'm not touching you. Like it's that shit.
Very immature.
Very good.
Anyways, Bill's not getting a day job ever. Nor am I.
Not even if there's a fire.
We're unemployable. We're unemployable.
Eventually, Pants and I will be roommates, and Tommy will act like she never knew us.
And then when we're 63 years old, our YouTube show when we're 63 years old, sharing an efficiency in Lakewood, that can be our hit show.
Yeah.
That's really going to be our hit show.
Yeah,
Did you eat the last Uncrustable, dude? I could swear there was 2 left and there's none now. Maybe we should just do that.
Yeah.
Consolidate.
I'll have my oxygen.
Sharing, sitting on the couch, just passing a mask back and forth.
No, we can't afford your own.
We used to do this with a vape. Remember when we used to do this with a pen? We got to look at tits. And they were real.
They were real, yeah. I did want to talk about that, but we'll say that for next week because I forgot to bring it. But I got VR, and I was gonna have you guys watch some pornography.
You got
I might puke. Okay. I don't know if I can do it. I don't want to puke. You're like,
you mean come?
No, puke.
Yeah, no.
Like VR.
Have you ever tried VR?
No, but I get like really nauseous from like 3D stuff, weird like.
Yeah. No, I really want to.
Well, like try and then if you just
if I
just take it off. Yeah, it'll be good.
Puke into a bucket, somebody will be in.
Yeah, now I really want to. Now I really want to do the VR episode.
So yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Next week.
Next week we'll do that.
Did you guys vote?
Yeah, I voted.
Did you vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Voted.
I'll bet you'll never guess for who. No, I did not. I did not.
So that I was way more upset over how that went than the getting let go from iHeart.
Yeah, you were like, I'm not to get into it. You were definitely feel like, and I'm not saying you were way more bummed about that than the iHeart thing.
The thing is, my son is trans, and he is terrified to live in this country now.
Yeah, you didn't even have to explain that.
Yeah,
right.
You're like, I'm explaining it for
but
them.
I'm saying like your sorrow over it.
But like there's people that whatever their motivations are to vote for Donald Trump don't align with my values, and you can say, oh, we can agree to disagree, but the fact that you're on the side where there's Nazis and dudes saying things like your body, my choice, and telling, Raj got a bunch of hate from people as soon as
Are you serious?
Our Indian friend Raj got hate from Trump voters. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then it's about like you'll never come back to this country, but like, or you're getting kicked out. All this stuff, like the past that people feel like they have now. And again, I understand that this is not all Trump supporters that feel this way, but you're on the same side as these people.
Yeah.
And these aren't deal breakers for you, and so that's where it's upsetting because. You going, oh, eggs are pretty expensive. I don't like that. Means you go, so I'll stand for bigotry and racism and flat out hate and be like, but because you think the economy is more important than people's right to exist or people's right to, just be who they are.
Like that's my issue isn't with Republicans. It's strictly like Trump. You know what I mean? Like Trump supporters. Like, and even if you look at Republican and Democrat, they have similar views on like deportation, just very mass versus.
Well, and that's the thing. It's the like but nobody is looking at that either.
Exactly right now.
It's all the way that people feel like now they have a license to say what they want, and the speech that Trump gave on Friday morning where he's like, we're gonna bring back free speech, basically saying hate speech is gonna be legal is what I took away from that. And I mean, that's terrifying.
No, it's quite literally.
And then you also find out that people didn't know what tariffs were. I don't know if you guys saw.
I guarantee you 90% of the motherfuckers talking about tariffs still have no fucking idea what tariffs are.
It's just,
even though we all learned what those were in 3rd grade.
And then I know there's plenty of things like this that are it's anecdotal stuff. It's things that are used to stoke fear, but it doesn't change the fact that women and LGBTQ plus people are feeling very unsafe in this country, and it's gross. Like, I'm grossed out by it, and I posted something like that, and some guy came on one of my other posts, and he's like, I'd support you, but you said all of Ohio, the people that voted for Trump are... I'm like, yeah, don't
I don't want your support.
I don't want your support. You're weird. The fact that you see people flying a Trump flag and a Nazi flag together, and you're like, "Yep." You look the other way. That's weird to me.
Even like the sexual assault stuff. No, you're fine. Even like asking people about that,
right?
And they're like, "I don't believe it." Or the really good one was, she wasn't pretty enough. She's like, she was pretty. I don't remember her name.
Yeah,
like,
Jean E. Carroll.
Yes, and they're just like.
Jean Carroll, I'm sorry. And the thing is, too, they'll be like, well, here's all... There's some people that are really invested, and they'll fall for all the lawyers' tricks to try and discredit her. But they never... But that's the thing, like, that's what those are.
Right.
Those are things that a lawyer will do to try and discredit someone, and then a judge still said... he did this, and then they go, well, that judge is against Trump, and it's just the way you guys are always moving the goalpost it makes it impossible to have a good faith discussion,
right?
Because they don't want to have a good faith discussion.
Exactly.
They don't want to, because what they all don't understand, and this isn't a defense of Trump, is they're voted for a populist that is a terrible person, but is also fucking hilarious.
He's very funny.
And the problem is, no one that votes for the guy, they all think that hilariousness is rubbing off on them, and they're always the unfunniest motherfucker.
Right.
And they always think, like, when they look in the mirror, they see Trump or they see Elon Musk, and it's like, no, dude, you drive a 2008 Civic, and no one wants to invite you to parties because your jokes fucking suck, and you're parroting tweets you saw from 4 years ago from Andrew Tate. Like, it's
and Trump
terrible.
would spit on you if you met you.
Yeah, dude, it's
like the funniest.
It's like it's to contradict my point. It's like the one tweet that has never been the truest thing in the world is like, we may need to come to an understanding that the worst person to ever exist is maybe also the funniest person to ever exist.
Oh, can I just debate the whole funniest thing?
Go ahead,
because
you're the comedian.
Listen, but he's not funny on purpose.
No,
and
right?
So when you are saying someone's the funniest person, that's like, he is the biggest joke. I will say he's the biggest joke. He is something that you can laugh at.
I'm not debating that.
Yeah, but to say he's like Bill Burr is a funny person because he's saying things on purpose. You know, that's funny.
No, I'm not saying it's
someone that you can laugh at the way we laugh at him is like
a clown.
He's a clown. He's not even a clown because clowns know what they're doing. He is just. He's a joke. That's exactly what he is.
Hannibal Buress, I think, summed him up best where he goes, it's like watching an open micer when Trump does like a rally. It's like watching an open micer stumble into a bit that works.
Yeah.
And then he gets more and more worked up, and somehow he stumbles into other bits that work on top of it. But at no point, it's like performance art where you're like, I don't know how he's doing any of this right now.
Right. Well, it's and I also don't want the president to be that entertaining.
No.
I want the
for the record, I didn't vote for the guy. I voted Harris. I'm sorry. Go on.
I did, but
see, it's
I voted Harris too. I can't.
Same. Clear that up.
The whole and because the things that are most important to me are, like, when it comes to politics, are people's rights. I think education's really important. I think putting somebody like RFK Jr. in charge of health is fucking scary.
I mean, he's got abs, so there's that.
Bro, I'm about to have abs. Well, that doesn't mean I'm healthy. All right.
The whole... we did this already. And I'm not like trying to shit on Democrats. It's like I watched the Democratic Party systematically fuck it up day by day in 2016, and then it's literally the same story. Where it's like when they trotted Biden's fucking zombie ass out a few weeks before the election, and he called Trump voters garbage. I was like, that's not the nail in the coffin, but that certainly isn't helping.
Well, and here's the thing, and talking more locally, the way that Bernie Moreno didn't have to say anything about what he was going to do. Bernie Moreno's a car salesman that doesn't pay his employees, that's got like on record as a scumbag businessman, which should infuriate the people of Ohio. But all he had to be was like, trans people in the bathrooms, kids, trans kids, Sherrod Brown, all for this. And they can use that boogeyman tactic.
It worked to a T.
To scare the shit out of people. And then you got Sherrod Brown finally reacting to it a month later and being like, hey, I don't even give a fuck about trans people.
Yeah.
Like, that was his way to, it's like, I don't even care about that. And like, also, Sherrod Brown, would it kill you to comb your hair? Would it kill you to fucking run a comb through your hair and maybe take a lozenge?
These guys like Bernie Sanders and Sherrod Brown and stuff, and like any guy that's really honestly too pure for this earth, they always think like it pays off to look like the fucking neurotic substitute teacher and just stumbling like, I've been so busy working all night on actual ideas how to fix things, and it's like, no, dude, like no one pays. It's like the real enemy and the real problem that you're going to face is for the next 4 years, you're going to have people stare you into the eyes when you talk about how evil Trump is, and they go, I know, and it's terrible and it's awful. Those motherfuckers just went and quietly cast a ballot and a vote for him, and they shut the fuck up about it, and they'll never come clean about it.
Well,
it's not the people wearing red hats. It's not the fuckers with 17 Trump flags on their truck. That's not who got him in office. It's all the people that quietly know they don't got to say shit about any of it.
And if he's gonna be as good for this country, like better be fucking rich. 4 years later, we all better be fucking rich.
That's how it always goes, dude.
But
it's like
but it doesn't happen.
Look, and this is. I'm certainly don't read nearly enough to try to make a salient political point, but Republicans fight dirty. Democrats don't fight at all.
Right.
Yep.
And when they paid some motherfucker to come up with the line, he's voting for they, them, Bernie Moreno's voting for you, or whatever it was. It was over.
Yeah, it was over. Yeah.
Because it's what it comes down to is marketing. It's about the shitty red hats. It's about it's about Elon Musk jumping around on stage like an impotent retard. You know, and I can say the R word now. Thanks, Donald, because you're in office.
The whole they them thing is like really funny too, because he's for they them is actually the right the way they want the pronouns to be used.
I'm sorry, divorced of what the message was, that was a brilliant slogan to win.
No, and the fact that people are so scared of trans people. The whole thing with trans people, it is 1% of our population, and it is 98% of what Republicans use to scare you into voting for them.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Democrats are like preparing to storm the shores of Reddit on January 6th. And look, I don't endorse treason, and I do not defend the events of January 6th at all. Those motherfuckers were mad enough to fucking storm a fucking government building.
And then they voted for the guy again, and that wasn't a deal breaker for you motherfuckers. You're
Trump
crazy.
sat in a heated tent and laughed.
Yeah. They were like, you've seen the video of them watching it, they're like, this is crazy. Huh?
Yeah, can you believe this shit? Like, it's I'm not, I think we should just, I'm not nearly politically inclined enough to continue this conversation.
Right.
It's just, we do this. Like, we did this already.
And
we
also,
already went through this.
This is a very special episode of Cleveland America. We are not political most of the time.
No,
It's not a serious place.
It's not a serious place.
It has to become a serious place because we just put Trump back in office.
Right, yeah, I'm not a political person. I just think that people should have rights, and that when somebody says, your body, my rights, I go, ugh, gross. I wouldn't want to be on that side.
That's back to my point where it's like, I'm not touching you, where it's like, okay, like now dudes are just going to say that, and they're like, I didn't really mean that. It's like people that, it's like when people are going to start saying the N-word for ironic racism until they get an ironic fist in their face.
Yeah, right. There's going to be plenty.
And that's the problem but
they want that, like the powers that be want that escalation. They want to see the left get violent. They want to see
division has always been the only goal.
Yeah,
and they've been pulling it off flawlessly now for what, 4 election cycles?
Yeah,
probably longer. I mean, I feel like a fucking Timu Rage Against the Machine right now, but like,
can we trick them into cutting their dicks off?
no,
I think we can.
no.
They're all on like they're all on TRT, and then they all talk about how fucking gender affirming surgery should be illegal. And I'm like,
there's no, that's the thing. Nobody believes any of the shit.
no,
Like,
and look, I'm going way too far with this, but the Project 2025 thing is like the wall in 2016, where I'm just like, they don't really intend to do any of this. They just know that it's going to get every red hat wearing idiot fired up enough to get into the fucking ballot box.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Again, I said I went too far with that, but like, you know.
No, very much so. That's why you put it out beforehand to get them all in. But
Yeah.
I'm not worried right now. Like, I mean, obviously it sucks, but like I've known he was going to win for a while. That's why I got my fucking tubes removed at the beginning of this year. But I'm more so worried about when it's over. Like, what the fuck is he going to do? Is he going to start a new party? Like, is that just going to split off?
Well, and
get a new
that's the thing too. Like when these
like,
4 years are up, these 4 years are up, if Trump is still alive, because he is, you know,
he's the oldest, right? Somebody said he's the oldest. I forget who.
He's the oldest to be.
Do we know how old he is?
Yeah, he's almost 80, 79.
Okay.
Not that old, but he looks rough.
He started doing the dance move. Like, I feel like he's hit another gear. Like, I feel like we're entering a new.
But it's
like LeBron in LA.
The strategy that I'm afraid he's going to use is, well, in 2020 that election was stolen from me, so I should get one more term.
Yeah, he's
definitely like
gonna try and run again.
Yeah. No, I mean, he wants to take away term limits altogether.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to be the king of America.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm worried.
That's a very scary thing.
Yeah.
And then also, like, you know,
Why is it scary?
He is a 300-pound McDonald's eating Adderall addict. There's a good chance he dies while in office, and then we get JD Vance as president. I think that's actually, it's not good, but also I don't think he is charismatic enough to like that's going to tank the Republican Party. So I think that's actually best case scenario, because everyone's going to see him in there and be like, well, this guy's a fucking pun.
It is wild that you could, like, Trump's not physically a small person. He's like 6'2", 300 pounds, and he clearly doesn't take care of himself. I don't know how at the age of 79 you are still that active, that with it. Like, I'm not saying the guy looks like, you know, Jason Statham, but man, like,
blood of the children.
Yeah, well, dude, he's the one guy where I feel like anger has kept him young and vital somehow.
He's not gonna die. Somehow he's not.
I think he's gonna outlive me.
Dude,
I do. Really one of my favorite tweets was, I can't remember who said it, but they said, I think we were a little hard on J.J. Abrams for somehow Palpatine returned. The way this all went.
I mean, listen. At least we'll have the tweets to get us through the next.
No, there's going to be humor. There's going to be art that's going to be
owned by Elon Musk.
Comforting and great for all this.
As an artist, I don't know if we're going to have great art. I think we're just going to have memes and tweets.
Yeah.
I think we really hit that point with it. Where I'm like,
there'll be moments.
It's the thing where, like, in 2016, every, like, just aged out scene guy was like, oh, it's punk rock time. We're going to see some awesome punk rock. And then, like, just, like, it was just like,
well, we'll see. I think, you know, from people.
United Nations put out a sick fucking song, is what I remember. And that was it. There's a band called United Nations, not the actual United Nations.
Well, there's a.
What if?
Bo Burnham's going to put something out that's going to be fucking amazing.
I better be called outside, and he better just be outside playing 17 instruments. And...
He's going to do something, and there's going to be, you know, there's going to be...
No, there will be...
good shit from this. But
inspired art and music will come out of this, but also just... Like,
you always have to sift through the shit.
You're going to see 74 more electronic music festivals pop up, and then you're going to have to just read the worst poetry you've ever heard.
I think we can also finally put to bed cancel culture ain't a thing. So
I think both sides couldn't be.
Honestly,
you could shut the fuck up about that. So like, oh, you can't say anything anymore. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want and end up being president.
I think both sides are definitely can agree on one thing. We're like, no, we're good on that now. And then like Republicans like, I could say faggot again. Like it's
right. So we'll see how that shit all.
I've said retard and faggot in the same episode.
There you go.
Did.
He did.
Those are the only boxes I'm checking.
Say that word. I know you want to say it.
My white friend who is married to a black woman said the N-word last night. Over at the house.
Hard R or I?
Hard R. And she was very surprised. It was like a joke in a like. He was pretending to quote someone, but I was like, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah. Contextually.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Contextually, it's like if you really want to say it, go on and say it. I don't like it.
I don't even like even when
married.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to
even like the A, the A, the soft A. I don't.
Right. I don't.
I can't. Like
let that one.
I put I think it was a thread post I put out, and it said anytime you see an unsent text in the group chat, everyone in the group chat automatically assumes you just typed the N-word, and then Bill will be the replies. He goes, "You delete a lot of texts in the group chat, or you unsend a lot of texts in the group chat."
The best joke I've heard about that was.
Don't mind me.
From John Armstrong, who has an album out now. You should check it out.
Which is incredible.
So good.
And he said, he was talking about how like Latinos didn't show up to vote, and he's like, Puerto Ricans, you can't say the N-word anymore.
Yeah, dude. He went out up at the High and Dry, and you'd have sworn he'd been doing that material for years.
It was great. He was brilliant.
He came off almost off the dome with all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's special.
He's a special guy.
He's special.
Yeah. He's a very funny dude. So yeah, check out his.
At least we're gonna get like Noah. This is not against you. At least we're gonna get a ton more Trump impressions for the next one. Like tons.
Yeah, Noah's shit's gonna go up. I think.
Yeah, Noah, that kid's talking more. Noah's gonna be in a hot tub.
Congratulations, Noah.
Yeah, Noah's gonna
so
be like
happy.
pulling up in his fucking Cybertruck, being like, "Talk all your shit, you want, motherfucker."
Hell yeah.
And James Austin Johnson, who does it on SNL, he fucking kills it.
I'm sure Shane Gillis.
Dude, I was gonna say.
Good one, yeah.
So funny.
Which, I mean, to be fair, if I had, I mean, Gillis's Trump to me it's my favorite. You can call it your the best or whatever. I think it's.
I think it sounds the best, but it's also the best because it's so fucking cute when he giggles at his own stuff.
It's because he kind of makes it his own because it's still like Shane Gillis doing Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
So Tony Hinchcliffe, you take the noose off around your neck. You're good.
He never had it on there. He's like, oh look, my podcast got more popular.
Yeah. Oh boy, Kill Tony now has 3 billion subscribers.
Yeah. That's unfortunate that it was just bad, just very lazy. Not even jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly,
at least try.
But here's the thing. Trump voters that were not there, and listen, I talked to a couple about it. They were like, "That was funny. That shit he said about the watermelon, that was funny." And I go,
bro,
dude, I was like,
but that's also, and this will be the last thing, and then we'll wrap this episode up. Is the people? Everybody lives in their bubbles, so us being more in the city, more, in spaces where there are Black people and brown people and LGBTQ plus people, like all those people, we see those people on a regular basis. We are not just people that are around other people that look like us, do almost the same job as us. When I go out to visit my girlfriend, she lives out 50 miles outside the city.
Safe to say she's in the middle of the sticks.
Yeah, she's out there, and you don't see Black people, you don't see brown people, you don't see anybody like being different in any way. Everybody dresses almost exactly the same way. Everybody's car almost looks exactly the same. Everybody's house looks almost the same. Like it's one of those things where there's no individuality out there, and there's no exposure to these different elements that we see on a regular basis. Like if we make a joke that's distasteful about Black people, we have Black people in our lives that will say, hey, that's wrong. Yeah. They don't have that. They're scared of trans people. They don't know any.
No, they haven't.
They're scared of these situations, and but they don't interact with any of these people.
This isn't to put it on people who voted for Harris or didn't vote for Trump, but it's like this happened 8 years ago. It's like drive 20 minutes in any direction from this gentrified area of Cleveland, and you shouldn't be shocked that Trump mollywopped Kamala.
Right.
Well, and that's
like just wipe the floor with her.
But then also you have a lot of people that are in that in between where there's 13 million people that didn't vote this time.
Yeah.
Like that's a crazy number.
Like I'm put that on the Democrats, dude. It's
I know. I agree.
Like
I agree.
Like look, dude. Like it's there. I used to feel a way about when people are like, well, I don't vote, like because either they wanted to be cool guy or they just didn't think it mattered anymore. I'm like, yep. I go. I really don't have an argument for that anymore.
It's kind of funny. I know another cop that voted Kamala.
Yeah.
Who's normally Republican.
Yeah.
Because he can't fucking stand. And I'm like.
Yeah,
it's definitely the people who aren't voting.
I know a gay cop too.
Like it's
Does he touch the kid touching cop? Do you like the?
No, I mean they all voted.
The callback.
Yeah, that's a callback.
Callback.
But no, I know. I one of my favorite people like is a police officer, and he's so upset because he's like, my job is so much harder when Trump's president because there's people that they're like, I can do what I want and be violent and the way that they're like, Trump's president, I can drink and drive now. Like that shit is how they feel. They're like, oh, white privilege is a thing. Well, then I need the white privilege president to have my back, and then they go and they act that way.
And that just causes more anger,
it's like a
division.
it's like a slow boiling mob mentality where like it's like pro wrestling. It's like if you go to a pro wrestling show and like Stone Cold cracks open 2 beers and pours over here, it's like I pour it on my head too, and it's like that's just the next 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
But the beers are just the fucking freedom to say the worst possible things you can and do the worst possible things to women. So
I'll start carrying again.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
Well, I'll do a proper time. Thanks for coming to Cleveland, America. Please subscribe, share, like, comment. Tell your friends about this. We're really gonna put our fucking back. I have time now, so I'm gonna really put my fucking nuts on the line with this podcast because I think it's great.
That's a brainstorming thing.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot going on.
Yes.
So appreciate you guys for coming to Cleveland, America.
It's not a serious place.
Bye.